All right, Yep Dirt, what it do, folks? It's your boy Smoove the Blaq Kennedy and my man's M. Dot. This is Step Into the Light, Step Into the Mic podcast. What's going on, people? How y'all doing today?
I'm good. Great. Just taking it a day at a time, step at a time, loving it. Dealing with some grief, but gotta push forward on that. We gotta push forward on that. Miss Stefanece, how you doing? Well, first let's introduce our guest.
Yes, please.
A lot of y'all don't know. We got Miss Stefanece here. She's called the Millennial Nurse on her YouTube. She is a nurse working through these pandemic times. She's also an entrepreneur with various Airbnbs, various side hustles. So we got her on here to explain that, promote herself, and really, exemplify that Black woman in that leadership power position, because we don't have a lot of those. And we love to see our sisters rising and really getting to the bread and doing what they got to do when they need to do it. So, go ahead, Miss Stefanece, just give us a brief detail on your background and where you come from and those type of things, because we know each other from back in the day, Gunner Bedford, shout out Gunner Bedford.
Oh, wow.
Middle school, shout out to that. Shout out to that. And it's crazy because, people don't know, me and Stefanece, we had like a little month boyfriend and girlfriend thing. Like it was like a little month thing. Like
in middle school?
Like middle school.
Middle school was a long time. That was like,
that was ages ago. Yeah, but go ahead, just give the people the background and everything like that.
Well, Stefanece, I am from Philly, but I don't know when I moved to Delaware. Probably when I was in elementary school. I get into my elementary school, then I went through Delaware through middle school and high school. Then for college, I moved to Miami because I knew I was getting out of Delaware like as soon as I could.
Wow.
So I was gone.
I feel you. I did the same thing.
Yeah,
you did.
You can't stay in there that long. So I moved to Miami for school, and I was there for a little bit, but I was having financial aid issues. So they was telling me I had to either like pay $30,000 for one semester,
God damn,
or start over. And I was like, mind you, I was a junior, so I was like about to be done.
Was this an HBCU?
You said or start over?
Yes.
Was this an HBCU?
Nah, this was a PWI.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Wait, what school was it?
Barry University.
Barry University, okay.
The only reason why, and I don't no slight against HBCUs, but every time I hear financial aid problem, HBCU is always the first college that come up too. So no slight against them. I just wanted to ask,
it was the background. The parents' taxes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what it was. So we couldn't get that together. So I was out there like, man, I'm gonna have to like start over or pay $30,000, and I wasn't about to pay. So I was like, I gotta go to somewhere that has cheap like housing and cheap schools so I could pay out of pocket. And I had a friend, you remember Eve? I don't know if you remember Eve, but I had a friend that lived in Texas. I was like, let me go visit her for her HBCU. It was like Prairie View's homecoming. And it was so jumping. I was like, all right, I'm gonna move here. So that's why I moved to Texas, just for school originally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you've been there ever since?
Like off and on, like I went home for a little bit to Philly. I lived in Philly. I moved back to Philly for a little bit and went to school out there. I went to like 6 schools. Like,
God dang.
Yeah, like every time I moved, I was in school because I had to pay out of pocket. So it was like, you just gonna have to like do what you got to do. So I moved home for a little bit and stayed with my grandma for like 2 years, and then I moved back to Houston because I was like, I cannot out here. So I went back to Houston, still went to school, and then I finally got accepted into nursing school.
Oh, wow.
So I had to start all over. Like I already was in that process in Miami, but I had to redo all that again.
Which is crazy. So you spent more money in school than you were ever really supposed to from the jump.
Yes. But it's cheaper than $30,000, if that makes sense. Like even though I had to start all over in Texas, like a whole semester would be like $1,000 at the community college.
Gotcha. Yep. That makes
sense. So it was like, it was just more time consuming.
So let me ask you this. You think, with all the hoops you had to jump, do you think that's on the education system's fault, or do you think that's a fault of your own in regards to trying to balance that? Like, do you think they should have stepped in and said, all right, well, we got some other options, sister schools that you could probably go to, won't be as expensive? Mm-hmm. Or do you think that they just kind of left everything on you? Like, either you pay that 30 grand or you got to go to another school?
It was kind of left on you, like college is hard.
Yeah, man.
And then they don't care. It's really just a business. So if you ain't got the money, then move over. Like, we got somebody else. So it really is a schooling. And like, I feel like if you don't have to go to school, like, don't. It's really a waste of your money. Like, unless you're doing something like medical or law, yep. You do not need to go to school, because these people be making you have debt for no reason that you don't even need. And
that's
if I didn't be a nurse, I would have not went to school.
That's the one thing I tell people all the time. I said, if you ain't going to school for STEM, statistics, science, technology, engineering, or mathematics, there's not really no point, because everything else is just redundant. Even law school, you don't even have to do pre-law or anything like that. You can be a nursing major and go and just take the LSAT and go to law school. You can be any major and go to law. Like, it really doesn't matter. Yeah, it really doesn't matter. Like, STEM is where the money's at. That's where if you're going to school, that's where you need to go to school for.
See, that's so crazy to me, because it's like you said, the only time you really need to go to school would be for STEM, right? So why don't they just start making people pay for those classes, right? But everything else probably should just be free. And maybe that's just, I don't know. My way of thinking is weird, because it only makes sense though.
It makes sense. Yeah.
If those four categories provide the most are the most sought after jobs, right? Because they pay the most, and they're guaranteed positions. Then sure, that makes sense to pay to go to school for that, because you're going to make that back. Mm-hmm. So whereas you going for, I don't know, teaching, which is the most valuable job in my opinion.
Undervalued.
Yeah, undervalued. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, they should be going to school for free and not having to pay 60, 30 grand, whatever the case may be. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Mm-hmm. They don't even get paid that much when they graduate.
No. Them folks be working about 15, 20 years just to pay their debt off. Mm-hmm. Now they're starting to work on their retirement or whatever they can scrape up. It's really ridiculous these days, but I don't know. That's my little rant. I'm sorry.
No, it makes sense. It's sad how schools just prey on you and make you feel like you have to have a degree, and even certain minimum wage jobs, you need a degree for $13 an hour.
I seen that. I'm like,
I was like, what?
That doesn't even make any sense. If you stay at that job for 20 years, you're never going to pay off how much you owe in your undergrad or graduate school debt. You're never going to pay it off.
It's like modern day financial slavery.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yo, that's facts.
Absolutely. It's like nowadays, right? Undergrad degree was 20 years ago. That was oh yes, go to school, go to college, right? Now a master's, even if you get a graduate degree is nothing now. Yeah. Depending on what you get in it, it's nothing. I got a graduate degree. It doesn't open doors for me for nothing. Only thing it does for me is if I wanted to go teach, be an adjunct or whatever the case may be. But other than that, in regards to the job that I work in now, it does nothing for me. It's just something I can say that I have, and then that's it. It does nothing.
Yeah. That's a daggone shame, man. So, Ms. Steph, I got a question for you. Mm-hmm. What made you want to become a nurse?
Well, my sister made me want to become a nurse because she's has a disability. So I've always was with her at the hospitals and all that. And the nurses were super cool, teaching me stuff and showing me stuff. So I was like, oh, I want to be a nurse. I feel like that's a typical, oh, I want to be a teacher. I feel like that's something you're ingrained in doing. Yeah. But when I went to don't mind my trash, man. But when I was in Wisconsin to Del Castle, they had the program where you can do a trade.
Yeah.
So I did the LPN, licensed practical nurse program, or LPN program, and that kind of made me segue my way to nursing.
Nice. That makes a lot of sense. And the fact that you were constantly at the, or not, I don't want to say constantly at the hospital, but you were constantly around different nurses and or whatever. So that puts you on to want to become a nurse. That's good. And you know what? That actually tells me a lot about you, right? I don't know you like that from a can of paint, but generally, whenever I hear folks talk about how, you know, they've been connected to some type of medical field due to a family member of some sort, that to me tells that you have a big heart. You're probably a really kind person, and that's dope. Yeah, that's dope. I wanted to thank you for that, because not a lot of people have the guts or patience to be a nurse. You know what I mean? Because it's a lot of things that go with that. It's a lot of pressure.
It is.
So thank you for that.
So with you know, being a nurse, you know, on the front lines with this COVID epidemic, right? With this and everything that's been going on, how has that affected you with your work? You know, mentally, physically, spiritually? How has that affected you with everything?
Well, I feel like now we're getting paid more. Like what we should have been getting paid from the beginning. So before, nurses we making like $20 an hour. I'm not even about to hold you.
$20 an hour.
Yes, I've met nurses at $20 an hour, and you taking care of somebody's life, like it's a lot that goes into it. So now, you know, our pays increase, so that's good. But the downfall is everybody had COVID. Well, back in the day, I feel like now COVID in the hospital is kind of dying down a little bit, but
that's good to hear.
Yeah, everyone had COVID, and so you're working and you don't know what this is. It kind of was like, you know how when Ebola came out, you was like, yo, this is crazy. And so you're risking your life to help someone else, and you're not being compensated or like recognized for it. Like all they used to give us like pizza parties. I don't need that. Little banners. Like I feel like the hospitals made it seem like they were doing more for us than they actually was. And then you had to reuse like your protective gear. So like normally like N95 masks that you only can wear one normally at one time, and you throw it away after one patient. They were like, you have to keep it the whole shift. You need to reuse it for the next shift. I was like, this is not even working at this point. Like
that's crazy.
You know, have to reuse your gowns, and it was just a mess because I guess they weren't, I mean, you're not expecting the pandemic to happen. So your supply is only so much. So I feel like our safety was like at risk during the height of COVID. Now they're getting a little better, but it's still like pretty bad. But yeah, mentally, I feel like you kind of have like a PTSD because you see so many people die, you kind of get used to it. It's just crazy. It's like, oh yeah, dang, they died from COVID. Or like, oh, my patient died. Like it just rolls off the tongue now. It's really sad. Like you just get immune to people dying.
Oh my God.
So like in the beginning, it was scary. Now it's like, if your patient doesn't comply with things that you know, because you've been doing COVID for like now we're on 2 years of COVID. So if your patient doesn't do the things that you tell them to do, you're like, look, if you don't do this, you can die. And you got to talk to your patients like that now. It's like, it's crazy how things have shifted because you're like, I don't want you to die. I want you to do these things, like, because people don't listen. You know, people do what they want to do. They think, you know, if I do this, I'm like, look, I had patients that was here yesterday and I came back on my shift and they're gone because they weren't trying to comply and do stuff. So now I feel like I have thicker skin and like a lot of things just roll off. And I don't know if that's good or bad, but
I'm not gonna say
you know.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing. I think, like you said, you've become immune to it, and I think that's what anything, you know. If you've seen something happen numerous times, your body, your psyche is just like, all right, you know, this is what it is now. This is like a daily thing of life. You know what I mean? But I mean, I think it can affect you in the long run. Like, damn, during this pandemic, you know, it's 2 years. I've seen hundreds and hundreds of people just die from it, like just continue to pass on. So that's sad. It's extremely sad, man.
It is.
And it's like, you know, they're paying you more now, but it's like, is it enough? You know what I mean? For the stuff you have to deal with and witness, is it enough? Like, and I see sometimes with, the traveling nurses, they make like $100, $120, $130 an hour to work at those facilities where need is really necessary.
Mm.
And it's just like, all right, you want me to travel to Oklahoma or something, make $130 an hour, but I'm at risk and I might catch this, whatever the case may be, but I still got to deal with all these people that might pass. Like that mentally, I think that's very exhausting on your psyche.
It's got to be.
You got to be really a tough individual. And that says a lot about you. Like Smoove said earlier, there's something different about you. Mm-hmm. Like how you can handle this. Plus you have a lot of other things going on. Mm. So I commend you on that one.
Yeah, a whole gang of other things going on. So not only are you a nurse, right, but you also have another business as well?
Mm-hmm. So I have two other businesses. So I do Airbnbs and rental cars.
Oh, wow. How do you wait? Hold on.
Where did I go wrong?
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, when is somebody gonna put me on game to get on this to do this type of thing, right? Like
everybody's talking about it now.
Well, but
true, but everybody is talking about it. But how many people are actually doing it?
Doing it, yeah.
That is true.
Like you don't know how many. I've been in several real estate investing classes, right? Like paid money like $300 to go, but they tell you like, oh, I've made this much, but they never tell you the steps on how to get to that point.
Yeah.
That's the problem I got with them guys. So can you please just give the steps on how you achieve these type of businesses? Because you can say like, oh yeah, Smoove and I made like, this, that, and it's like, well, how did you do it? Like, what did you do? What were the steps? How did you do it? Like, I know it didn't just happen out of thin air.
Yeah. So, I'll start with the rental cars because that happened accidentally. I had an extra car that I had, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with it? So I was going to give it to my friend's sister, but she's like, no, I don't need it. Like, it was going to be a gift. We're going to be gifting cars. So,
I need some new friends.
Yeah, facts. You need a new circle.
So that didn't work out. So I was like, well, I heard about this platform called Hire Car and Turo. And I was like, this was in 2019, early 2019. So I was like, no one really was talking about it. So I was like, let me just try it out. And
pre-COVID?
Yeah. So as soon as I like listed someone wanted it that day. And I was like, okay, so I guess I'll rent this car out. It was an old like Honda 2009 Honda Accord. So it wasn't that, like, I didn't really care. So when I rented it out, I was like, wow, this person really liked it. Like I got like $200 for the weekend. And I was like, oh, okay, this could be like a thing. So then I think it's a couple months later, I financed the car. Mm-hmm. And it was a Nissan Sentra. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try the hire car thing again. As soon as I put it on there, the guy had it for 6 months. And
damn,
he was paying like, I think $1,000 a month to me, like cash flow, like after expenses, that was the cash flow. And I was like, yo, so if I get 10 cars, that's about 10K. Like I was just like doing the math, like,
wow.
Cars, like the cash flow was crazy. So then that's why I was like, I'm interested in this. And the cars is a lot easier to start than Airbnb. Airbnb has a lot of moving parts in it.
But hold on. Let's put it in perspective though. It's because you're in Houston, right? You're in a more metropolis type of area where it's a city, it's moving and booming. Mm-hmm. Out in the sticks in Delaware, that cash flow ain't gonna be like that.
No, it might, because I have a friend who did a nursing travel contract in El Paso, and I told her about the cars, Turo and all that.
Right.
She started it in El Paso. It was dry. So she's like, I'm gonna just start my own company. So now her rental car company is up there with Enterprise, with Hertz. So they go to her instead of those people. So you can start it anywhere. It just depends on how motivated and dedicated you want to be, because now you have your own market. You are the rental car company instead of going through a third party.
So, okay. So let me ask you another question, right? So can you speak on the difference between your credit and business credit? Because those are two different things when you opening up an LLC and everything like that. Can you speak about that in regards to does your business credit reflect your personal credit, or are those two different categories?
Well, when we first start out, they look, because if your business is new, normally less than 2 years, they look at your personal credit for stuff. So if you want a credit card for their business, they're going to look at your personal credit. So I always say have your personal credit together because your business is a baby. And they're like, well, how am I going to trust that this business is even going to be successful if you're going to, you know, like establish it, anything. So they look at your personal credit to establish anything. They're two different things. You have to look on like your Dun and Bradstreet score, and you'll see.
Your what? Your what?
Dun and Bradstreet.
I thought you said something about the Backstreet Boys. All right. My bad. All right.
No,
one more
wait,
time.
Smoove, you was dead serious about that one. Bro.
Yeah, bro. I'm thinking like, what the hell they got to do with this? All right. Sorry.
So
say it again.
Dun and Bradstreet, and that'll let you know like your score and all that. It's kind of like your your EIN is like your social, and this is just like your driver's license. So you can see like your history and see like what you have going on. So it just takes a while to build it. I don't know how people be doing like, you know, get business credit in 30 days type thing. I don't know how all that works.
I think that's all fraudulent.
I just know it took me about 1.5 to 2 years for a bank to be like, okay, you established, you got something going on, we trust you. Because they have to trust that you're not going to just run off with this money. Like, how they going to know that you're going to get back? Your business started yesterday. How am I going to know you? Real business. So I don't know how these other people getting business credit. I would love to know.
PP loans or whatever wherever the heck that stuff was called.
PPP.
Yeah, PPP.
PPP loans.
Yes, and now the government, you see them getting ready to arrest people, and
they're
running down
because idiots were doing it where they was taking millions and millions of dollars on businesses that, but they didn't have any of the materials for that business, nothing. It was very fraudulent, and it was like rappers or like celebrities was just buying it on stupid stuff like jewelry, Lambos, all this dumb stuff. Like Black people, excuse me, let me go off a tangent. Black people, when you give them these type of things, right? They do the most idiotic stuff. Why are you doing that? If somebody give you $2 million, why are you really not putting that into a business or something? You going out buying Lambos. Yeah, you know what I mean? You going out buying Lambos and jewelry that's $100,000 that's worthless and going to strip clubs. That is meaningless.
Bro,
it's so stupid.
It's not their fault though. It's really not their fault.
Whose fault?
It's really not Black folks' fault, bro. And I'm gonna tell you why. Now, hear me out. I'm gonna tell you why. When you're conditioned to doing something for so many years, it becomes normal, right? So it's not a lot of people that's gonna be like, you know what? I should probably take this money and invest it in a business, because they pops ain't never do nothing like that. They grandfather and so on and so forth have never been able to do stuff with money like that.
But hold on. We talking about higher status individuals now.
Yeah, you said higher status? Oh, I thought you was talking about regular degular.
No, I'm talking about like
rappers and stuff.
Yeah, rappers and celebrities. Those guys, they have tax people, business advisors, and everybody that kind of counsel them. If they want to do their own stupid shit and take $2 million and buy jewelry and Lambo, I want that person arrested for stealing on taxpayers' money. I want that dude arrested. Like, I don't give a what you doing.
You know better.
Yeah, what I'm saying. I ain't talking about regular Joe Schmo. Regular Joe Schmo, we understand the conditioning and everything like that. Like Black people, it's always been a thing. Like we value the most materialistic stuff because we're trying to compete with the dominant society in a way where it's like, all right, if I get this PS5 and this Xbox and people come out, they're gonna think I'm rich. Well, no, it's all about your credit. It's all about what you have that's non-materialistic, stocks, bonds, those type of things that really determine your wealth, not no stupid fucking Lambo and all this other stuff like cars.
So I think we're just conditioned to think we have to have the nicest thing.
Yeah, it's because it's the competition. It's competing with the other society and trying to catch up.
And they don't.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That 400. Yeah, they really don't.
They already got it. They don't really care. And if they don't have it, they can get it if they want.
Like, it's crazy. Like, if you would compare, like, let's just do comparison, right? We compare like Bill Gates to let's say then I know they're not on the same level, but just hear me out real quick, like to Kevin Hart or Bill Gates to Kevin Hart. If you see how those two people dress, like Bill Gates, he wears the same outfit every day. He doesn't waste time on picking the outfit.
Yeah. He said it like caused him anxiety or something.
Yeah, like he to him, he's like, why? Oh, really? That's wasting time. Like, time is money.
Decisions that you don't need to make. So a lot of people that are like wealthy, don't even decide on clothes, because that's why am I wasting my time deciding on something to wear when I can make a decision on like a multi-million-dollar deal. My clothes is already out.
Bro,
And the same shirt, same pant. That's one less thing to worry about.
Right. That's like, yo, we right here, Steph. We right here. Like, it's that's just crazy. I never thought about it before because, you know, I was always into materialistic things and everything, like growing up, Jordan, this, Jordan, that. But then I realized, like, why? Like, who am I trying to impress? Like, I'm married now. Like, who cares what I wear? Who cares what I'm wearing? Like, who's gonna notice? You know, when I'm dead and gone, are they gonna remember me from having the flashiest clothes? I can't take any of that with me when I go to where I need to go. That shit stays here and I'm in the ground. So it's just
I'm gonna call you out.
Listen,
whenever that day come, I'm gonna be like, man,
what you got on?
That man had on Jordans for about 15 years, bro. The same pair. Bro. Same pair of Jordans, 15 years. Ain't that something?
Same pair to the point where now I don't even, like, I wear the same stuff. Like, I wear the same Jordans. I don't buy no new sneakers anymore.
You don't need to.
Or get the off-brand ones, you know?
I'm about to go to Cowtown.
I'm not about to let my mans go out like that.
I'm going to Cowtown.
But real ones that's not designer. That's like off-brand. Like, I don't like when you try and like do the designer because that's they design. Get something else that is not the design. Like, oh, where you get those from? Oh, I got these from there.
Yeah, I just seen the new Gordons that I'm about to go pick up.
This man said the Gordons.
Gordon 8s. So, you know, if you see my thing with a jump man that look like this, that's the Gordon 8s. So,
what'd he do? What happened?
That's the Gordon 8s. So, you know, if I rock them, it is what it is.
Ooh.
Little off tangent, but I think it all ties together.
It does.
So Steph, go ahead and speak on the you know, you talked about the rental car business, and wow, that's a lot of information that you've given, and it's very powerful. We'll talk about the Airbnb. How did you get started with that?
So I was renting a house in Houston, and before I bought my house that I'm in now. So I was like, well, what I'm gonna do with this house because my lease wasn't up yet. And I was trying to figure out what to do. It's always like a weird situation I'm put in. And I'm gonna have to like figure out what
you like MacGyver. You just gotta work it out. You work it out how you gotta do it.
So I just put a bedroom on this platform. I don't know what it was called, like Roommate Rent or something. Because I was not gonna be there, so like I didn't care there. So the girl stayed in one of the rooms for $850, and another girl stayed in a room for $1,000. I was like,
whoa, wait.
And that's down there in Texas too.
It's in Texas.
So $850 for one room, $1,000 for another.
Because I gave her the master so she could have like the home bathroom, and she was a travel nurse.
What was the lease? How much was your lease on that thing?
$1,200.
Wow. So you were
it was a 3-bedroom house.
So you rented out all 3 rooms?
I rented out 2 because my friend's sister was staying in. So I was like, damn, this is crazy cash flow.
Wow.
And the crazy part, right? Like, all right, you can pay that amount of rent in Delaware, right? But that'll probably be like, I don't know, maybe a 1 or 2 bedroom at the most. Mm-hmm. But you had a 3-bedroom. How many baths?
2.5.
2.5 baths.
Wow.
For $1,200.
Mm-hmm.
And you're getting a stack back from one person.
Mm-hmm.
The what's it called? The cost of living in Texas is so freaking low, bro. You're out there balling right now. That's what's up.
I think that's where I'm moving next, like Houston, Texas.
Yeah, Texas is nice. I thought everybody was riding on horses and stuff, you know.
Oh no,
not Houston.
Before I came here, and I was like, oh, it's like it reminds
parts of Texas.
Yeah.
You go out on the outskirts, you on somebody on some horses. But I thought it's like similar to Atlanta, but not as like flashy. Atlanta is like a lot.
It's like Black Hollywood, right?
Yes, like you always gotta be looking nice and like I mean it's a good networking opportunity, but
and that's the catch with $0 in their bank account while looking nice all the time.
I don't feel like that.
That's what's up. So wow. All right. So your Airbnb in Texas.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you been doing that?
Since I bought my house, so 2019. They all happened around the same time, randomly. It just happened.
So let me ask you this. So were you always this thinking type of person to the point where you was already maxing out the next plan? Like you was talking about the rental car business. Like you was like, shit, if I get 10 cars, that's 10K. Were you always this person that thought ahead of how I can maximize my profits to get me where I need to be, where I want to be?
Yeah, I'm always thinking about money. Like I hustle to anything. Like even when I was in, like when I lived in Miami, I worked at Nordstrom. So I did Nordstrom, I did Uber Eats. So
you worked at Nordstrom?
Yes.
You did too.
I worked at Nordstrom too. Yeah.
That's crazy. I worked at Christiana Mall for a little bit.
Oh yeah, you did. What year you worked?
I don't remember.
Probably like 2012, 2013. Yeah. I think I remember seeing you in there. Yeah.
I'm over.
Where at in the mall did you work?
I worked at King of Prussia and at Christiana Mall at Nordstrom.
Oh, okay. In 2012. Bro, what year was I working at the mall? At that McDonald's. Was that 11 or 12?
God damn, bro, that was a long time ago. It was
a very long time
10,
ago.
That had to be like 10 or 11. Because I think that was right when you graduated, like probably 10 or 11.
We graduated at 11, right?
Yeah, we graduated at 11.
Yeah. So I worked at Nordstrom in 12.
Yeah, I think that's when I came on too. I worked there for 2 years.
I feel like I've seen you there before.
You might
now that you mentioned the mall and Nordstrom's, yeah. Did you ever? I don't know. All right.
Back then, Steph used to have like black with a little highlight of pink in her hair. Did you used to have that? You used to rock that?
Highlight of pink? No, I did not.
Your hair was black though, wasn't it? At one point in time, you ain't had no highlight in there.
Not no pink.
But you had a highlight in there though, right?
It was blonde.
Okay, there we go. Blonde, pink, potato.
They're the same colors.
That's funny. All right, so 2019, you pretty much get both of your business started, right?
Yeah, I graduated nursing school that year too.
God damn.
Okay.
And bought a house.
I'm glad we have you on this platform.
Drop my water.
All right, side note, this man drops or does something every episode. We're gonna have to glue your hands to the table or something.
I'm a very like
he be into it and then it just like I'll be talking, especially when I'm in a rant, I'll be like, yeah, da 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 bop, and then my mic just fall on the ground or something like that. So
I'm surprised the headphones ain't came out yet.
It did. You ain't see the joint.
Oh, word.
Yeah. So
that's hilarious.
It is what it is. But so let me ask you this, Steph. Family is very important. I can see that, with you, with your sister, your folks, and everything like that. How have they acted with your newfound success? Even though it's been 2 years, with nursing and your businesses, how have they reacted to all that?
They be like, when you gonna come home? Because because they all live, back in Philly and Delaware. So,
yeah.
I'd be like, one, I don't think I'm ever gonna move back there.
What, Delaware or Philly?
Never Delaware.
But... Why Delaware got such a bad taste in your mouth? I still live in Delaware. I'm the only one that still live here. I got family here now. What's come on now?
Offers you nothing.
Okay. All right.
Once you travel and explore and see how other cities and places are, you're like, this doesn't offer me nothing. Like I can still get like Delaware is kind of like delayed on a lot of things.
Yeah.
As far as activities, like it could be a really great area. I don't know why it's taking so long for it to like boom. Like I just got that little LA Fitness. I think you know what I'm talking about. Like Delaware is for you to know.
I think with Delaware, right? Delaware is such a small state, so there's always a conception with Delaware that's always been a retirement state, right? Mm-hmm. People come here from like New York, New Jersey, they retire, they move here, they raise their badass kids here, and then they move down to the beaches or whatever the case may be. I think now it's changing more into more of a business oriented, because that's where a lot of people set up their businesses. They set up the LLCs in Delaware. And you have a lot of the big banks that are in Delaware as well. You got Capital One, JP Morgan Chase, a lot of their headquarters are in here. So I think it's changed slowly but surely, but Delaware still has a big problem when it comes to crime, drugs, and a lot of other things that are kind of being detrimental to its progress. So they have a lot of things they got to work on.
Sound like
but it is. But I tell you what though, if you came down to like Middletown areas getting more gentrified with more little malls, more, even though it's no comparison to Houston, Texas, but it's getting better slowly but sure. I would say in the next 10 years, it's probably gonna be jumping.
Middletown?
Yeah, Middletown, absolutely. Yeah.
I always thought Middletown was a nice area, period, though, because
it is very nice out there.
Yeah, it's out there in the sticks.
It's just nothing to do.
Right.
That's the only thing.
I mean, they just put a movie theater, so we got something.
See, so you can move to the suburbs of Houston, like the Woodlands area, and it's very similar to that, but they have their own mall. They have their own little town. So Middletown needs their own little town set up. So you be very like, oh, I gotta go down to Bear or Newcastle to get stuff.
Yeah. I think I want to move to Texas now because that's always been like one of the places me and my wife we talked about like where we would move to, and I think Texas would probably be the next place we move. If we able to, we're going to Texas. We're not moving. We're not staying in Delaware.
Just come on down to North Carolina, bro. Don't go to Texas.
Where are you at, North Carolina? Because I'm trying to buy a house out there.
Right now I'm in Georgia. I'm visiting my grandma's right now, but I'm moving to Raleigh in a couple months.
Okay.
You said you found a spot?
No, we're actually still looking. Hey, and that's funny, yo. Yesterday we just got news that the place that we was getting ready to try to grab off the market. So a little sick about that. But no, check out Raleigh. I would check out Raleigh, Charlotte, and actually those probably maybe Durham.
Greensboro.
Oh yeah, the borough cool. If depends on what you're going out there for. If you're going out there just to live in Greensboro, to commute to a place like Raleigh or Durham or something like that, then cool. Greensboro it's a very black city. It's not a bad thing at all. It is. I mean, you got A&T out there, UNCG. It's a lot of schools and stuff out there, but Greensboro is kind of like I don't want to say it's like the Wilmington of Delaware, but
okay,
you know what I'm saying?
What? I ain't moving to nothing that's close to Wilmington in another state.
That's why, in a sense, Wilmington is still its own place in itself, right? But as far as like having a lot of like a high crime rate out there and stuff like that, yeah, the borough it kind of gets a little ill out there.
Okay, so I stick with Raleigh. I was looking in Charlotte and Winston-Salem.
Winston-Salem, all right. That's another cool
I'm looking
place
for a lot of land on my place. Like I want a lot of land with the house that I buy.
It's kind of hard in Charlotte. Yeah, because it's a growing city and they have a lot going on out there now. Now, maybe if it was 10 years ago, I'd have said, cool, you can probably find some land. Now, maybe not as much.
What about Raleigh?
Raleigh, yeah, even in the cities surrounding Raleigh, right? You'll find some places, probably like Clayton, Cary, Apex, little small places like that. You can probably find some land. Maybe not in Raleigh. And maybe not as much in Durham either, because Durham is kind of city-like in a sense. Mm-hmm. You'll find something though. Okay. Yeah, you'll find something. I love that place. Yeah, North Carolina is the best. Yeah, in my opinion. Texas was also on the list though, until I found out. Texas always has something going on. They got laws changing, like that abortion law, then like the. That is super crazy. The fact that
what abortion law? What law are you talking about in Texas? What you talking about?
So it's pretty much this law where Steph, you want to break it down? I know the full details.
What they told me is that a woman cannot get an abortion. Was it 6 weeks and after?
Whoa!
So that is like. The sperm and the egg just met, and you don't even know you're pregnant at 6 weeks. Most people don't even know they're not pregnant. It's like 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah. So you cannot get an abortion 6 weeks.
I've always been a firm believer of woman's choice in that right. You know what I mean? If you don't want to have the baby, if you want to abort it, cool. You know, it's your right, because at the end of the day, it's your body. You know, you have every wherewithal to do what you want. But yeah, 6 weeks, that's a little harsh.
Yeah, man.
That's a little harsh. Yeah.
A man can have
rape too.
Who?
Rape doesn't qualify.
You said it doesn't qualify.
It's not.
Wow.
See, so it's stuff like that that makes me not want to move to a place like that. And then they're also changing something with the education system out there as well. Dang, what was the name of it? Forgot the actual name of it, but they'll pretty much be teaching kids, like, they won't be teaching certain parts of history.
The Black history thing.
Yeah.
Is that legitimate? Is that, because I've seen something like that, but
that's real deal, Holyfield. Yeah, they did that in Texas, and I want to say they're doing the same thing in Tennessee as well.
So they're not teaching Black history at all, or
it's not that they're not teaching Black history, but they're not going to highlight things.
But they're not teaching Black history.
Yeah,
they're not.
I'll be honest.
They're coding it.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. When it comes to Black history, I think that's on the parents to teach that, because at the end of the day, even with like sexual education, because at the end of the day, right, the schools is only going to teach you what they're actually paid to teach. You know, their curriculum, whatever is in their curriculum. They can't overcode or sugarcoat anything. They're going to teach whatever they're telling them to teach. Now, I think it's up to the parents to be able to sit their kid down and say, hey, I'm going to explain this, that, and the third to you. Just like with sexual education. Like sexual education and finance as well, because they don't teach that. They don't teach none of those type of things in school now. Now with sexual education, it's a lot of different things now. And it's like, you know, I think that's a conversation you should have with your father, your mother, or whoever's your guardian at that point, especially Black history. They can just say, well, you know, Black people were slaves, but they won't focus on any of the revolutions. They won't focus on any of the people that really plighted Black people in that fight. They'll probably just talk about Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks. There is hundreds and hundreds of influential Black folks that they always miss. Like it's crazy. It's crazy.
So you say that responsibility should be left up to the parents?
Absolutely, 100%.
Black history.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they should just take Black history out of schools?
No.
And learn regular history?
No. So all right, because I hate this, right? Black history is American history. That's what they need to stop doing that, because at the end of the day, things that happen, things that are classified as Black history happen, and they benefited both American and Black folks. The Civil Rights Act, pivotal. It helped with a lot of different races, people with different sexual orientations as well. So a lot of the things that Black people fought for and strive for, you know, really benefited a lot of other folks, and it benefited Black people just a tad. So I think people still need to know those crucial moments that were in history, but the essential Black folks, the essential heroes and everything like that, I think you need to sit your child down and really explain what this person did and why they're influential or important in your life or in history. You know, that's what I believe, because every school is not going to teach everything about a Black person, or they're going to omit certain things. Like when they talk about Martin Luther King, they talk about up to I have a dream, but then they don't talk about how he wanted to fight for like equal freedoms and financial stability when it comes to people of all colors and races. They don't talk about that. Or they don't talk about Malcolm X when he went to Mecca and he came back and he wanted to fight for all human rights. They don't talk about that. Those are key moments in those people's lives that they should discuss. That's what I think when Black history, it needs to be taught by the parents that know and do their research and understand, and so that way they can kind of know and understand what this person really did and what they really stood for. So that's my caveat on that.
I feel that I have something I want to elaborate on, but
go ahead, bro.
My man's back here building a house, I guess. So it's I don't know if y'all can hear that noise or not. Can y'all hear that?
I hear a little bit, but it's not really.
Oh, all right, cool. I thought it was loud.
It's not distorting you at all.
Oh, okay. The only thing I was gonna say was I done forgot now because it's a whole song there behind me. All right, there it goes again. But anyways, right on. So yeah, I feel you though, man. I'm with you.
Yeah, like
Stefanece, what you think?
Yeah, what you think about
do you think that it should be taught in school, or it's up to the parents?
I feel like it should be both, but no, they're not going to teach you things that will make you stronger. So
yeah, absolutely.
Like everything, finance, health, and education, all that stuff, they're not going to teach you. So those are things that you, as a parent, you're going to have to do anyway. Like Black history, what did we learn? Martin Luther King had a dream.
That's it.
And we had the basics. We didn't even get to, we never talked about slavery. So we don't know if that was in effect even when we was growing up. So I don't feel like it's going to be for me and for my children. I mean, I don't plan on having my children in America, but if I did, they
wait, hold on. Let's
that
rewind.
Is very interesting. Please elaborate on that.
Wait, yeah, please. You don't want to have your children in America. Where are you? And then that's another question I wanted to ask you too about where the places you visited and everything like that. Where do you want to have your children at?
Not here. My kids are not safe. Black kids are not safe in America. Like just when you travel and you see how kind people are and like how they treat you, like you don't feel like, oh, you're a Black person. It's like, oh, we're American. Where are you from in America? Oh, I've been there. Like very general, very welcoming. America, absolutely not. Especially when Black women be dying, giving birth. Oh no.
Oh God. So where are you having your kid? You still haven't said the country.
I don't know yet. I was thinking I'm going to do sabbaticals each week. You know, I lived in Mexico for a little bit. I loved Mexico. I'm going to go to Panama next to see.
Oh, wow.
If that's a place. I want to go to places that have good healthcare.
Yeah.
I think Portugal was a place.
Beautiful.
Wow.
Very beautiful over there.
Oh yeah. Smoove, you've been to Portugal.
Yeah, I lived in Spain for 3 years, so Portugal was right next door. Yeah, it took maybe like 45 minutes to an hour just to get into Portugal. But no, I agree though. The reception that you get overseas as a Black person, right, is freaking phenomenal. Yeah. I tell people that all the time, and actually, I had this conversation with my mom. When I got back to the States last month. You know, I'm so used to walking around and being friendly to everybody because that's just how people are in Spain. And, you know, I go to this one place. I wanted my rims to get looked at real fast. And, you know, Buddy was just real rude. And I'm like, dang, I'm really back in America now. Like, because the way that he was talking to me and had to talk to me like that, like, brother, I'm a grown man too. You know, but whatever. You know, that's just how folks are. But yeah, I was really taken away by that. Yeah, I don't know if I want. I might want kids overseas too. It's either they either gonna be down south or
citizenship. Well, they can always come back. I mean, of course, you have places here they can come but I really want, because the first 5 years are so important in a kid's life. I want that foundation to be somewhere else. Like I want them to learn different language and different culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like how diverse they'll be. I mean, yes, we'll come back to America sometimes, but just the first 5 years, really, I'm trying to like pour into my kids and like have them have experiences that you cannot have in America. Yeah. Like the trauma that we deal with in America as Black people, my kids don't need that.
It's just so amazing we having this conversation because like it speaks volumes. Like we've all lived in America all our whole life, and it's just to say that, you know, these experiences and what we've seen. Like I'll never forget, like the place I work for. I'm not gonna drop where I work, but like I'll never forget the incident when George Floyd got killed, right? And you know, I work in law enforcement, so when George Floyd got killed, right, our department at that time, you know, didn't do anything to kind of, you know, comfort us or like try to be, because that is very traumatizing to see that, you know. And a lot of people don't think it is, that's not a PTSD thing. It is, because every time a Black person gets killed by police in a sense of a wrongdoing, and it's replayed, and that person can be your uncle, your cousin, or whoever the case may be, it's very traumatizing. And I think in this country, you know, it speaks volumes that there's still a lot of wrong that's being done, and there's not a lot of right that's overdoing all this wrong that's been done. And I'm with you. I definitely would, you know, my little MJ, my little guy, I would have definitely loved to have him in another country. You know, I mean, he's 6 months now, but I think you know, our support system is very strong, and he's going to get that diverse with other cultures. You know, my family's from Haiti, my wife's family's from the Philippines, so he's going to get a little bit of that diverse culture. But I definitely want him to explore other places as well, and definitely be in other cultures and immerse himself. I was always a firm believer of, like, you know, you have an open mind to different cultures. You know, their food is a gateway. Like, you eat somebody else's food, you diving into their culture, you learning about it. You're like, this tastes familiar to what we make, this and that and the third. And yeah, I mean, yeah, that's my little caveat on that. Yeah,
it's an interesting way of looking at that, bro. That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Once you eat something good, you will never forget it.
Heck no. Anywhere in the world, you eat somebody's food, and it's just, your senses are just overwhelmed, and you're like, wow, that is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is amazing. So, like, speaking on countries, right? How many countries have you been to, and what's your favorite country that you've been to?
Not that many. I'm always on the Caribbean side. Especially with COVID, because I was supposed to move to Portugal. That was my goal instead of Mexico. But COVID has been blocking it. You know, they've been shut down. Spain been shut down. So I've been to 7. So far, my favorite was Barbados.
Oh, nice.
And Mexico. I don't know. Mexico is like my second home. I'm always there. Mexico was very nice.
Do you speak Spanish?
No, I don't. I took Spanish class though with someone I was trying to like really learn, but I just threw myself in there and they teach me.
So you say you want to move. You want to move to Portugal. You want to move part-time, or you want to move there, like, you want to go there and live?
At least a year. I was gonna give myself a year there, because that's how you really feel like, you know, if you like it or not. Like,
right.
6 months to a year, you get a little feel of the place. And then I can like go different places in Europe
real quick and dumb cheap.
Yeah.
Like, dumb cheap.
That's what
you could. So I got a ticket from when I used to live in Cali, and I would fly back to the East Coast. Maybe, like, I don't know, it was over $300 round trip. All right, over $300, and Europe will probably have you going to at least 5 different countries.
Yeah.
Wow.
Round trip type shit.
Yeah, nah, he ain't BSing on that one. When I went to Spain, me and my wife and my boy went to Spain to come visit him, and literally we went to Amsterdam, went to London, cheap, and back to Spain, back into Madrid, cheap, like $100, like cheap.
That is love right there. So you get to like really explore. And I like how, like, if you go to Spain, you can go to Morocco, take the ferry to Morocco.
Yeah. Oh wow, for sure.
Yes, and I'm trying to explore Africa, you know, do all that too.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's just a nice little way to just see all the countries.
It is. Wow. It is. Yeah, that Portugal would have been a great location just to get around. So that place to get to Morocco, that city is called
Tarifa.
Yeah, and that I forgot how long that ferry ride is. But even when you're just standing down there in Tarifa and you're out there at the beach, standing on the water, you look across the water, you're looking at Morocco.
Oh wow.
Or if you go to Gibraltar and you get all the way on top of the Rock of Gibraltar, I'm sure y'all have heard of that before. You stand all the way on the top and you're looking right there at Africa. I mean, it is freaking beautiful. It's a sight to see.
That's my plan.
Wow.
Yeah, do that. Yeah.
Wow.
And you'll enjoy that for sure. So do you plan on doing, like, becoming a nurse out there as well? I mean, because Americans, I feel like Americans get a job preference when they're overseas. Because, you know, like, the English language is so sought after in a sense, right? Like, people just love Americans over there, period. So I feel like if you were to be a nurse or do anything, have any type of business, at Airbnb, you're gonna boom.
Yeah,
for sure.
I think so. I don't think I want to nurse. I would probably do volunteer stuff. Okay. I'm trying to do like a lot of digital stuff, like crypto, and I'm gonna do day trading, like all these brands.
Oh wow.
Like next year, I'm not going to work as a nurse. That's my goal, is to like not work as a nurse. So I'm trying to figure out a place I'm going to go move and stay for next year.
Wow.
So I'm just trying to do a lot of digital stuff. Try to be more active on social medias and like That's the hard part, being active on social media.
Oh, absolutely. We trying to do our thing with that too. You know what I mean?
It's so hard. Like that, like before you post a picture on Instagram, it was fine. Now it's like an algorithm and
it's crazy.
It's like
it's crazy. I just realized that I was watching a guy on YouTube, and YouTube has I swear, I call it YouTube University. You can find anything.
For sure. Yeah.
And then it was talking about marketing. And the guy was telling me, he was like, yeah, if you do a post or something like that, you better hashtag the shit out of it. Hashtag like 12 different things, because what that does is it puts your post or your story in the hashtag. So millions of people can see your thing, and then they can comment back, like on it, whatever the case may be. That's how you market yourself without having to pay for it. You know what I mean? But you got to do that every day, consistently, an hour a day doing that. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, do I even have that time to do that every day?
It's so hard. But I saw this TikTok. This girl said she made $20,000 from just like being an Instagram. But she ain't got that many followers.
Like an influencer.
Followers. Yeah, yes, an influencer.
She be showing her butt. She be showing her butt.
Oh, she don't. She's full.
Oh wow. I commend that, because there's a lot of women on Instagram that just show their butt and they get money. I like the women that don't show their butt and they got knowledge behind it.
It's easy to sell your body though.
Oh, absolutely.
But selling your mind is something different. You know, like exposing yourself and putting yourself on and helping other people. That's harder, because you have to prove to other people that what you're talking about you're actually doing. But I don't know, a lot of people be out here frauding, so
that's all they do. Every time somebody likes my profile stuff or whatever, I'll be getting these people that do Forex be liking my stuff. I'm like, you're fake. Stop following me.
That's annoying.
Like, and then there's these people commenting on my posts. I'm like, yo, you're spam. Stop.
Yo, I was gonna ask you about that. Yo, how does that happen? Like for you?
I don't. So my Instagram is like a business joint. It's not a regular joint. It's a business joint. So it has on the bottom of it like digital creator or something like that. So now the last post I put up, I got all these people commenting on it, talking about, DM us and whatever. And I'm looking at the person, they're telling me to DM it, this person with one picture and like 100,000 followers. I'm like, that is a scam. I'm not dumb.
Goddamn bots, bro. And then next is gonna be those don't look at my story. That nutted, bro. Yeah.
So that's the one thing I hate about Instagram is too many of that stupid stuff and not more of the interaction with the real people. Too many bots and scam artists trying to get your information to do it. I hate that. Like I think I see someone get scammed every day on Instagram.
Yeah, it's easy to get scammed.
Oh my god.
Yo,
Instagram is crazy. All right, so let me shoot you off one more question, and then we're gonna tie into the current events. Okay. What are the three most important things in your life right now?
My peace. I will not sacrifice that. I've learned to put my sanity and my peace first in everything that I do. Traveling. I'm ready to go somewhere all the time. I will never stop traveling, because you get to learn and explore. And it's just a good way to learn. And I think I like motivating people. Like I enjoy teaching and like putting people on. I love putting people on some game that I ain't know. So I don't know what that's called. What category is that? But whatever that is.
You're very inspirational. You're
inspirational.
You're the correct influencer. You're not an IG influencer. You're the correct influencer. And what I mean by that, like a lot of cats, they know the game, but they never want to put people on. You actually want to put people on and get the money too. And there's a lot of people that do that. Like, me and Smoove know a bunch of cats that do that. They do this, that, and the third business, this, that, and the third, but they never want to put cats on game. Mm-hmm. And it's shocking, because when we first started this podcast, right? And I'm usually the guy that try to get people to come on and be guests and everything like that, right? And I emailed somebody, I ain't gonna state her name or whatever, and I was like, yo, and we were small at that time. We didn't have that much subscribers. We were just starting out. We was like, and she got big businesses in Delaware, all this. We're like, yo, come on the podcast, speak about it, yada yada yada. Man, this chick left my shit on scene, didn't respond, nothing. And I sat there and I was just like, and I was like, all right, cool, gravy. I mean, I ain't gonna mess with you now. I'm gonna go find some other people that want to come on and give their opinion and really, promote and get us to a point where we need to, and we gonna help each other out at the end of the day. That's what it's about. But yeah, we love you for that stuff. Don't get it twisted. We love you for this, and we definitely would want you to come back on, like, anytime you want. Talk about your travel and talk about the nursing. Talk about people violating your peace. You know what I mean? How you had to sock somebody. We love that. That Philly come out quick. You know what I mean? That never get forgotten. But yeah.
Thanks for having me. My first little podcast.
Yeah, you did amazing.
First one?
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah,
you did amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Still on.
Yeah, absolutely. So, the current events. So let's talk about this first, right? COVID vaccine, mandatory vaccinations. You're a nurse. You work in the healthcare field. What's your opinion on that?
That's weird. Like, how are you gonna force somebody to get something and then you can still get the disease? It's not making sense. Like, I can see how, like, what are you about to say? It don't make sense.
Like, what are they what are they telling y'all, like, as the nurses, like, because I know y'all the person they speak to all the time. The doctor only see them one time a day. Mm-hmm. When they ask y'all, like, about the vaccine, what are you saying to them? What is the hospital telling you to say? Like,
well, we can't be nurses. You have to be very neutral and ethical. You can't, and we cannot tell patients to get it or not to get it. So,
got you.
I think that's the difference between nurses. That's probably why they trust nurses the most, because we are very biased. Like, whatever you want to do, we for. If you want to take it, cool, we down for. If you don't want to take it, cool, we ain't got to take it. So, because a lot of my patients have COVID that got the vaccine. So I'm like, it ain't making sense. I can see if it was like one, like, kind of like if you get a hepatitis B vaccine, or you get a tetanus, then the chance of you getting tetanus is like none. Or
right.
Or like you get the flu vaccine, you still can get the flu even though you get the vaccine, but the chance you ain't hear nobody like, damn, I got the flu vaccine and I got the flu. You don't really hear that. So that I feel like, okay, that makes more sense. Like, if you want to get it, then there's more proof behind it. Right. But people with these side effects and all of that, to me, I just be like, and the fact that you're trying to force it on people, you should never force that on anybody, because you don't know how someone's body is going to react. That's what I'm worried about. Like, people get so sick from little things and you're forcing them to get it. You don't even know if the illness is worse than COVID, because some people have paralysis and all that. At this point, just give me COVID, because I'm paralyzed.
Wow.
You're not thinking about the side effects. So I just think it's really not okay to force someone to do something with their body. And especially when it was during the trial phases, you couldn't even sue. The time something happened to you, you can't sue them because you took a trial drug.
So let me ask you this, right? I know you've seen the news now, especially in New York, Delaware, Christiana Care, the nurses, if they don't get vaccinated, they're firing them. How you feel about that? Like, what hospitals are doing now? Like, people that were on the front lines with using the same equipment, like you said, same mask you use for a whole week. How do you feel about they firing the same people that stuck their neck out for this damn virus?
I feel like it just shows you what they really about. They just about the money. It ain't really about
speak
the
on it.
Nurse or what she's doing or he doing. It's just about the money. And because I feel like they get grants or whatever per vaccine. Everything's a business. So if I don't have X amount of nurses vaccinated, I won't get a vaccine. Kind of like if like hospitals getting recognized because of nurses' quality of care. If a nurse doesn't give a quality of care, then the hospital don't get recognized and they don't get bonuses, they don't get money. So nurses run hospitals. Without a nurse, you cannot have a hospital. There's no way that it work. So they're like, okay, well, we need to figure out how we're gonna get our money back up, how we're gonna get our grants back up. So maybe let's just force a vaccine, and maybe they'll get our money back up. I don't know the details behind all that, but I feel like that's how it is. And the fact that you're hiring people that like put their life literally on the line for y'all is just wild to me. So that's why I be like telling people to travel. They be trying to be so gun-ho stuck to their job. That job will fire you any second. They don't care about it. So you should just do what you gotta do.
That's really wild. So I'm sure as you being a nurse, right, you've met numerous other nurses, right? Some that's probably been in for 10 plus years. What are those conversations like with the folks that's been in longer? Like, how, if you know, how did they feel about this mandate vaccine? Because it's really crazy. I mean, like Matt was saying, like a lot of these cats been out there on the front line when COVID first broke, right? Risking their lives, and now they're at risk of being fired. People that's been working 10 plus years, or I don't know, maybe on the brink of retirement.
Mm-hmm.
Have you had any conversations with folks like that?
Yeah, a lot of the nurses that I travel with have been nurses for a while, and they're just like, I can't believe this is like what we come into. Like, even with the flu vaccine, you know, when the flu thing, like when the vaccine came out and they were like really trying to push it, they were like, even then you had the choice of getting it. And if you didn't want the flu vaccine, you just got to wear a mask, or you got to do something extra. I feel like there should be a compromise. Like they were like, you know, how about weekly testing for people that don't have it? It should be weekly testing for everybody, because you can still get COVID with the vaccine. It's not like it's going to prevent the vaccine. I mean, to prevent the illness.
Yeah.
So a lot of them are like, you know, at this point, they've been at a job for 10, 15 years. They were able to just let it go and go somewhere else because they're not valued. And it's just like their job really never cared about them from the beginning. So they kind of feel the same way. It's like pro-choice. Everything in life is a choice. And if that's what you decide, that's what you decide.
That's crazy. So it sounds, as you were explaining it, right? First thing that came to mind was military. The military is ran like a machine. When one person drops out, right, there's 30, 40 more people that's already in line to take that position. You know what I mean? So it's a machine. You know what I'm saying? It's constantly running. And it sounds like that's how the hospital is being ran as well, in treating their employees, and that's freaking trash. Yeah, that's really trash. I don't know. Hopefully they'll get it together whenever this pandemic.
It becomes an option, like, you know, not forced.
Yeah.
Because I mean, now it's getting, you know, for travel too, you kind of need a vaccine. So.
Yeah, you do.
It's kind of like, this is where we're coming to.
Unfortunately. I mean, as they kept saying, you know, this is the new norm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, times is really changing. I mean, these are unprecedented times. Even, you know, my grandparents, or, you know, folks that I know that's like in their 60s, 70s, they've never been through anything like this. Matter of fact, I had a great aunt. She passed away. She passed away last year, and she lived to be 101.
Oh wow!
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so she remembers the Spanish flu.
Very similar.
Yeah, very similar, right? But that only lasted for like 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
But she was talking about how she remembers. I mean, she was a baby, or Tyler or something like that. But she remembers seeing people in masks and stuff like that. But it wasn't like how it is today. Like, oh, it's a choice on if you know, want to take a vaccine or not. It's either you wear your mask or not the vaccine, but it's either, well, they didn't have a vaccine, but it's either you wear a mask or you're going to jail. If you, if you go on Google right now and type in Spanish flu mask, you'll see like different pictures of folks talking about, you know, mask or go to jail and stuff like that. And you know how they ain't played back then. If you was going to jail, you was going to jail. And that was probably like, I think Spanish flu was 1916.
Yeah, it was 1920, I think.
1920? Okay.
It was literally 100 years from when COVID.
Wow.
When COVID.
See, let me not get my conspiracy bag.
But because I'm ready for it.
But like, that's weird though. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, perfect timing.
Yeah. Let's implement some of these things to see. I mean, I don't want to open up a can of worms, but a lot of folks feel like this is the start of a new era, in a sense, right? Like the new world order type stuff, right? Like
that's what
making people have vaccine cards, right? where you won't be allowed to go to certain places, right? That's gonna piss people off. The market is already starting to get crazy right now. They feel like the market is about to crash. All these changes is going on right now. But I don't want to wear my cone right now, my little alien cone. But
hey brother, it's just weird. You already said a new world order, so you might as well just dive into it.
I'm just saying, bro, like it's people just got to pay attention to what's going on out here in the world. I mean, grant, like when we first got the vaccine, everybody was like, oh, well, if you had your ears to the streets, people was like, oh, it's microchips in the vaccine, or we're going to be zombies, and, this, that, and the third. And it's like, all right, cool. Now, really think about that, right? If there are microchips in these vaccines, or there's some type of strand that's going to turn you into a zombie at the push of a button, I mean, like, what's that gonna really do? I mean, yeah, people will go crazy or whatnot, but don't you think the world will end and it'll be,
Yeah, I was like, if we're gonna go, just let me go.
Yeah.
One last one standing. I don't want to be the last one.
I ain't trying to be no damn zombie.
No.
Okay. But
even if you are a zombie, hey, you're dead. So it ain't like you gonna.
Everybody is zombie at this point. We zombies together.
Yeah, that's facts. These right here is really what's
No, that's the problem.
Nah, social media. Social media number one. Social media. When I was at those state, I wanted to say a couple weeks ago, because I had to go visit my little niece. So I'm driving around. Literally, everybody is just like this, walking on a phone. Like I'm driving. I'm like, get out of the street. Like I'm about to hit y'all. Y'all not paying attention. And it's just like that generation is so glued to their phone. Mind you, we come from the generation where we had cell phones, but it wasn't like we was glued to the headphone.
Yeah, we still really started getting interaction. Middle school, high school. What I mean?
We just had the little Nokia. Like we couldn't. Yeah. We just had enough to like send a call, and I don't even think texting was. I think texting started in high school, and you had to pay per text.
Texting was expensive.
Yeah.
I had a track phone, so I know.
You had a trap phone?
I had a track phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, track phone. I had the Virgin Mobile.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
they don't even make Virgin Mobile no more.
Yep. So I understand.
Real throwback.
Dang. All right, so let's tie into this next current event. All right. Mm-hmm. Since you work in the healthcare field, we're gonna talk about childhood obesity. I have some statistics here.
Okay.
It says this is from the CDC, so it can be trusted. All right. The prevalence of obesity, and this is in 2017, 2018. Prevalence of obesity was about 19.3% and affected about 14.4 million children and adolescents. Obesity prevalence was 25.6% among Hispanic children, 24.2% among non-Hispanic children, Black children, and 16.1% among non-Hispanic white children, and 8.7% among non-Hispanic Asian children. What do you think is causing us to be in this obese state, especially with children nowadays? Because they're developing that type 2 juvenile diabetes, all these different healthcare problems. What's your thoughts about that?
Well, America, the stuff we put in our food here, is not even allowed in other countries.
Yeah, that is true. That is 100% true.
I don't get how, once again, why I'm not raising my kids here. This place is crazy. They do whatever they want pretty much. Because when I moved to Mexico, how fresh the food was, like I lost so much weight and eating regular stuff. Like it wasn't like I stopped eating a certain diet. It was just the food was actually fresh. Like they actually grew the stuff. So I feel like that's one of the reasons, the food that you eat. Like even if you get an organic stuff, you don't even know if that's really organic. Like organic food has pesticides and stuff in it too. Just certain ones they don't put in. Also activity. Everyone's on their phone. Everybody, like all the kids be on iPads and playing video games. Like we used to run outside.
Yeah.
We used to be outside.
We used to run in streets. You
couldn't wait to be outside after the school. You drop your book bag off and you outside. Like
all day, every day.
Yep.
But also it's like scary nowadays because kids getting kidnapped at an alarming rate. So it's just like you don't know, like even in the nice neighborhoods, that's where they really getting kidnapped at because we least expect.
And you know it's crazy. Let's talk about this kidnapping stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think nowadays, you know, it's not as like back in the day. You know, my mom would always say, "All right, you know, don't go into anybody's house. You know, be careful. Come home when the street lights come on." I don't think kids are getting taught these type of lessons no more. So they out willy nilly.
Yeah. But even when you're not out willing, like people be trying to take kids like in the mall, like broad daylight.
Yeah.
They snatch you up, like you go into the car, you and your kid walk into the car, and somebody right there, like.
And I think that's has a lot to do with human trafficking. Like human trafficking in this country is very serious. It doesn't get talked about a lot because, you know, they think of it more as an international thing. No, domestically in America, human trafficking is very serious, especially for young women. It's dangerous.
Yeah,
that's some crazy stuff.
Somebody if you buy like water areas like Miami, you right there by the port.
Oh yeah, so just like that, you can be gone.
Places that have like a lot of cruise lines, like Houston, like we have our little Gulf, LA, all those major port areas. It's easy. Take a little kid and go.
You know what? So let me ask you this before we roll. As a nurse, right? How many times have you heard about like a person of color coming up missing, or not coming up missing, but when their body is found, it's like some of their organs have been missing. Have you ran into that?
Not
or heard about it?
No, you don't.
Okay.
But I've seen that happening, and I'm like, I believe, you know, the black market. Wow.
Yeah, it is.
So. Yeah,
some
pretty ill stuff right there.
People will do anything for money and to live longer. Like think about people that like did you watch Squid Games?
Yeah.
That just lets you know, like people that have so much money are bored,
and they will try to find anything to occupy their time.
Anything to occupy your time.
My God. Well, Steph, we loved having you on. You brought in a lot of insight, different perspectives on a lot of things.
Been dope.
Definitely gave me a lot of game. I wrote a lot of stuff down, and I'm gonna try to do that rental car thing. I'll let you know how it goes in about 2 years to see if it actually takes off. But you got any final thoughts? Any questions for me and Smoove before we roll? We let you go.
No, I just appreciate y'all being my first podcast.
Oh, we are first. Smoove. We are first.
No doubt.
This was fun, and we got to do it again.
Absolutely.
So sure.
So before we roll, drop your social media handles, your YouTube page, all that.
Okay, so it's a lot on. Okay, so Instagram is my first name, Stefanece, Stefanece. YouTube is the Millennial Nurse. All this stuff is on my my Instagram bio, so we just click it. It has all my stuff there.
Okay.
On Facebook, I made a group called Hustle and Elevate. I'm trying to like take that to a whole nother dimension. Just all the stuff we're doing right now, talking about traveling, investing, finance, building wealth, businesses, hustles, whatever you got going on. Just trying to like put that on. And yeah, that's all the things I got.
All right, bet. Well, the lovely Stefanece, thank you. Appreciate you. We love you for having you on. Yeah, this was dope. Extremely dope. We appreciate that.
Yes. Thank you very much, Ms. Steph. And you will definitely be getting an invite to the cookout. Yeah. You know what I mean? We'll definitely be hitting you up. So much appreciated, man. Just stick around real fast. We're gonna close this out and give you our final thanks. For the listeners and viewers, y'all already know what's going on. We out here putting folks on. And they putting us on shit.
Like, comment, subscribe. Come on, guys. You guys are killing us here. We're putting out this beautiful content.
They ain't killing us, bro. They're making us better.
Well, they're making us better, but come on, like, comment, subscribe.
It ain't gonna stop.
We're not stopping. It
ain't gonna stop, goddamn. We out here. And we're gonna be booming and bunking. You know what? Let me not talk shit right now. grandma around the corner. Anyways, all right, peace and love, folks. Y'all be
Peace and
easy.
love. Y'all be safe.
Hi.